In the mid-20th century, a small nation on the western coast of Africa called Liberia was on the precipice of a profound transformation. Liberia's economy and resources were dominated by the Americo-Liberian community, a small elite with origins tracing back to freed slaves from the United States. The vast majority of Liberia's citizens, the indigenous tribes living in the interior of the country, found themselves isolated, exploited, and overlooked by this ruling oligarchy. The tide started to turn with the rise of one man, William Tubman. Born in 1895 in the southeastern city of Harper, Tubman began his political journey within the dominant true Whig Party. He quickly ascended the political ranks, first as a senator, then as legal counsel to the vice president, and finally as an associate justice of Liberia's Supreme Court. In 1943, Tubman was inaugurated as president, an office he would hold for the next 28 years. The scene was set when Tubman, the legal defender turned president, ascended to power, his presidential victory marking the onset of a transformative era for Liberia. His leadership would leave a lasting mark on Liberia, economically, politically, and socially. Under President Tubman's rule, Liberia adopted an open-door economic policy. He sought to shatter the economic monopoly of the Firestone Rubber Company and was successful in attracting numerous foreign investors, predominantly from the US. As a result, Liberia's economy diversified, moving beyond rubber plantations and manufacturing to construction, iron mining, and light manufacturing industries. President Tubman also worked to realign Liberian trade away from exclusively American channels. By 1970, Liberian exports to the US had dropped from 90% to 60%, and imports from 70% to less than 50%. President Tubman's efforts to attract foreign capital through investor-friendly concessions resulted in enormous profits for Liberia and companies such as Firestone, Goodrich, Republic Steel, and Bethlehem Steel. Foreign direct investments also benefited the capitalist class, Liberian society's bourgeoisie, and government bureaucrats. Politically, the open-door policy was just the first in a series of sweeping changes under Tubman's reign. Equally groundbreaking was his national unification program. Tubman pursued a policy of integration and national unification. His goal was to heal the centuries-old rift between the Americo-Liberian oligarchy and the indigenous majority. He sought to create an era of justice, equality, equitable dealing, and equal opportunity for everyone, regardless of tribe, religion, or economic standing. Moreover, he progressively integrated educated indigenous Liberians into the local government system. In addition, he granted indigenous people legislative representation and the right to vote, and he increased the size of the House of Representatives to enable more indigenous people to enter. He also consistently appointed competent natives to appropriate positions. Yet the policies were not without opposition. Several leading members of the true Whig Party perceived Tubman's cultural integration plan as radical, even threatening. Socially, greater educational facilities were provided for the interior people, especially with the opening of Cuttington College by the Episcopal Church, with the assistance of the Methodist and Lutheran missions, and with the establishment of elementary schools by the Lutherans, Methodists, and Episcopalians in other districts. He embraced African culture, adopting an African name and attire, and promoting indigenous art and dance. In conclusion, much was accomplished during Tubman's time, as they say in Liberia. The effects of his presidency were transformative. Foreign investments flowed into Liberia, constructing roads, bridges, and highways, bringing the coastal communities and the interior closer than ever before. However, despite these advancements, Liberia under President Tubman was far from perfect. The Americo-Liberian elite still held sway, and the policy of integration and national unification was not fully realized. Following Tubman's era, neither he nor his successors were able to implement the necessary reforms to fully realize the vision of a unified, equitable Liberia. This ultimately led to a military coup d'etat, marking the end of an era, the era of the true Whig Party, and a significant turning point in Liberian history. Tubman's presidency illustrates that political stability and economic growth do not always coincide with social progress and equality. A careful balance between attracting foreign investments, integrating social groups, and ensuring equitable wealth distribution is crucial for sustainable and inclusive development. It also shows that the task of nation building is complex and multifaceted, involving not only economic and political transformation, but also significant social changes. And that is the story of Liberia under President Tubman, a tale as rich and complex as the nation itself. Join us next time for another exploration into the pages of our shared history.